Delighted to be joined by Joseph Parker here in London at the press conference for Tyson Fury against Whyte. Joseph, how much have you enjoyed the occasion so far today?
It's been very entertaining. I know Whyte's not here, but Tyson knows how to work the show, and he knows what to say to get everyone hyped up and ready for a big fight, April 23. So it's been good. I'm just here with Tyson and his dad and the team to support him at the press conference, and it's very, very, very entertaining.
What have you made of the fact that Dillian has decided not to come here today for the press conference for what is the biggest fight of his life?
To be honest, I'm not even sure. I think if it's tactics or whether it's him staying in Portugal to train or focus on his camp, or whether he just doesn't want to get involved in the verbal side of things, I'm not quite sure. I think it would have been nice for him to be here. I think that's what everyone expected, the media, the team, but it is what it is.
How's Tyson looking in camp? You look like you're having a lot of fun in Morecambe, but there's some seriously tough work as well.
It's tough. It's tough every day. We're training twice a day or eating clean with George's food. I think Sugar Hill gets here on Sunday. So we've been training very hard for the last 7 or 8 weeks. And there's another 7 or 8 weeks to go. Tyson's looking in tremendous shape. He's been training hard for the last 7 or 8 weeks. He's been eating clean. He's been enjoying time with his family. I think the official camp started yesterday. So he's got another 7 or 8 weeks to go. And I think he's going to, obviously he's going to put in a great work to prepare for the fight. It's great for myself to be part of the camp, and until I lock in my own fight.
Have you been giving Tyson any tips on what it's like to take on Whyte? Has he been tapping into that resource? You've got invaluable resource.
I think obviously he's watched the fight that I had with Dillian, and he can see the strengths that he has, and he's making up his own game plan. We have talked about it, and we both know that Dillian's very tough in game. Tyson, and I know he knows himself that he's at a different level.
What do you think happens in that fight on the 23rd of April when Tyson steps in the ring? Hopefully Dillian will turn up for that.
I think there's going to be a knockout, and I think it's going to happen before round 6.
In Tyson's favour?
In Tyson's favour, yeah.
Why do you feel so strongly about that?
I've trained alongside him. I've seen, physically and mentally how he is in the gym and what he does, and I just feel he's going to have too much.
What's the next for Joseph Parker?
I wanted to fight Dillian. I wanted to have a rematch. It would have been great. The first fight was a tough fight. Would have been great to have a rematch, but since Tyson's fighting him, I'd love to fight anyone really. I think Joyce is a name that's sort of chucked around, and hopefully we can lock something in soon, whether it's him or anyone in the top 5.
Did that rematch come close when it looked like there may be a step aside for Fury to take on Usyk? Would it meant Dillian was vacant in terms of an opponent?
Oh, that would have been cool. But there was a lot of moving parts, this person take this person take that, this person fight this person, then hopefully I would have gotten it, but it's now that Dillian and Tyson are fighting, it's one of the biggest fights in history, so in the UK history, right?
Do you think it will be Joyce next for you then? Is that the ideal opponent?
Very, very likely, but my manager David Higgins is working on it at the moment, whether it's Joyce or other options from different promoters. We want to take the best fight out there and the best deal.
Finally, I wanted to ask you about judging in boxing, because it's come into shot focus yet again because of what happened at the weekend between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. Yeah. Firstly, what did you make of that? And secondly, what can we do to ensure that this doesn't happen in future?
Yeah, I think the general consensus is that it's a very bad decision. What can we do? What can we do?
Boxing is very subjective when it comes to judging. Is there a way that you can take away some of that subjectivity away?
Listen, I think there has to be something in place to not allow this to happen in future, or many, many more times, because it's again, a lot of people thought differently to what was the result on the night, but we've got to come up with something. Does
it concern you though as a boxer, because when you look at your fight against Dereck Chisora in December, it was a conclusive win for you, but when you look at the scorecards, you think, well, it's closer than
when I look at the scorecards, it was a very, very close fight. When I watched the fight and when I was in the fight, I felt like it was a massive gap in between. So even that example, there's got to be something that's got to happen to ensure that it doesn't happen again, and it doesn't affect fighters and future champions and boxing.
When you consider the money involved, and I think Frank Warren put forward £42 million for this fight, to stage this fight, is it almost strange that there is so much subjectivity around something which has got so much money, so much at stake?
Oh yeah, listen, for the money that's been put up and for the whole event, and I don't know, there's just got to, Dillian should have turned up today. and then we just got to get everything else right, you know, come fight night.